The American Justice Department has filed charges against 4 Russian military men, including 2 senior officials, for abducting and torturing an American and his wife from his house in Ukraine. Here's a full report. Take a look.
In an indictment returned yesterday in the Eastern District of Virginia, we have charged 4 Russia-affiliated military personnel with war crimes against an American citizen living in Ukraine. The charges include conspiracy to commit war crimes, including war crimes outlawed by the international community after World War II, unlawful confinement, torture, and inhuman treatment. Like all defendants in the U.S. criminal justice system, the defendants in this case are entitled to due process of law and are presumed innocent until proven guilty.
In a first-of-its-kind case, the U.S. filed war crime charges against 4 members of the Russian military.
We allege that in April of 2022, 2 commanding officers of Russia-affiliated forces, Suren Suranovich Mukurchian and Dmitry Budnik, as well as 2 lower-ranking soldiers whose first names are Valery and Nazar, committed war crimes against an American citizen who had been living in Russia since 2021. The victim was living in Miloravye, a small village in southern Ukraine, and was not participating in the armed conflict between Russia and Ukraine. As such, the victim was what is known as a protected person under international law.
Charges were filed for abducting and torturing an American during the Ukraine invasion. 4 Russians are identified as members of the Russian armed forces or its proxy units.
During his 10 days detained by Russia-affiliated forces, the victim in this case was tortured, threatened with sexual assault and execution, forced to perform manual labor, and beaten in the head, chest, and stomach with the soldiers' feet, their fists, and their guns. Again and again, he believed he was going to die. These charges against 4 Russia-affiliated military personnel are the Justice Department's first criminal charges under the U.S. war crimes statute. They are also an important step toward accountability for the Russian regime's illegal war in Ukraine. Our work is far from done.
2 of them are described as senior officers. None of the 4 are in custody.
Today marks the first time the War Crimes Act of 1996 has been charged in U.S. history. This is certainly not the first time the FBI has investigated war crimes and held perpetrators accountable. Cases like this one are among the most complex the FBI works, but bringing them is essential to deterring crimes like these and showing would-be perpetrators that no one is above the law and that war crimes will not go unpunished.
The American was captured from his home in Ukraine in 2022.
For decades, the FBI has been working to keep Americans safe from the many threats that Russia poses. Whether it's human rights abuses like those laid out in today's indictment, espionage targeting the U.S. government and our most sensitive information by Russian intelligence services that have not been shy about even murdering those they dislike worldwide, cyber attacks against our critical infrastructure in the hopes of bringing our daily lives to a halt, or transnational repression through which the Russian government tries to silence its critics on our own soil. But no matter the threat, no matter how heinous the crimes, the FBI will be there to protect U.S. citizens. And as you can see from today's announcement, we will work relentlessly to bring criminals to justice, no matter how long or how far that work may take us.
The abducted man was beaten and interrogated for 10 days in a military compound. The charges carry mostly symbolic significance for the moment. Prospects that any of the defendants ever being brought to an American courtroom are quite bleak. US and Russia do not have an extradition treaty. Agency Report, Republic TV.